go. Ford, in third place, extends their lead over Subaru.
As ever, the Argentine public had turned out in force as the WRC arrived in their country. Over 2 million were expected to make it onto the stages over the 3 days. Solberg's early speed suggested he was in the mood to bring Sebastian Loeb's winning run to an end.
Keep left of a crest. 60, deep water splash 2. 20.
But as expected, he was cautious through the deeper water splashes, no doubt mindful of his retirement in one last year.
20. Keep right.
And Loeb is a man who'll punish any hesitancy. He took the lead on stage 5, and by the end of day 1, his advantage was over 30 seconds. Not even a bull in the middle of the road on stage 7 could upset his rhythm. Marcus Gronholm was holding third position, and as far as he was concerned, he was doing the best he could.
It's absolutely impossible to go faster with this car, I am sure.
Mitsubishi's 2 drivers were going well. Gigi Gali was up to 4th before broken front suspension stopped him in his tracks. That pushed teammate Harry Rovanperä up to 5th and into a battle with fellow Finn Tony Gardemeister. It was a cautious return to the championship for Francois Duval, but importantly he was still on the road. On day 2, the stages were wider and faster, and there was more rain, which seemed to suit Marcus Gronholm. He won 3 of the morning stages and overtook Petter Solberg in 2nd place on stage 14. The Norwegian's challenge to retake 2nd hit problems in the afternoon.
No brakes. What, from the start or just now? Halfway.
He was lucky to still be running after 3 offs on the last stage of the day.
See if it'll go.
On day 3, the battle to watch over the mountain landscapes of El Condor and Mina Clavera was between Harry Rovanperä and Tony Gardemeister. Ford's number 1 had held off Rovanperä since day 1, but the Mitsubishi driver's persistence whittled away at his lead. In the end, though, he failed to catch his compatriot by just 5.6 seconds. But it was Sebastian Loeb who was again making history. As well as beating Colin McRae's stage record on El Condor, the Frenchman went on to take his 7th win of the season. Loeb finished with an advantage of 26.1 seconds ahead of Marcus Gronholm, with Petter Solberg another half a minute further back. And the leaderboard confirms the Frenchman's 27-point lead. Solberg still 2nd, while Gronholm leapfrogs Gardemeister and Martin.
Rally Finland is always an exciting event, and this year it had the added spice of providing the best opportunity for Petter Solberg and local hero Marcus Gronholm to end Sebastian Loeb's record-breaking run. And four-time Finland winner Gronholm made his knowledge of these roads count early on, taking the rally lead after stage 3. Peter Solberg was fastest on stage 1 and his Pirelli tyres were working well on the damp roads. But closest to the flying Finn after 3 stages was the championship leader. Loeb was just 4 seconds behind. Gronholm's local knowledge is not absolute. He was one of a number of drivers to be caught out by a heavy landing on a new stretch of road on stage 5. For a while there were doubts co-driver Timo Rautiainen could continue due to severe bruising. He was given the all-clear, but Gronholm reduced his pace to protect his injured co-driver, and their lead over Loeb was only 5.8 seconds by the end of day 1. An off on stage 8 saw Peter Solberg lose his rear spoiler. And the resultant lack of downforce nearly spelled disaster.
80, keep right of a big jump. 40, small crest, 50, keep right of a...
It was a lucky escape, but the lost time ended any chance he had of taking first place. Winner here in 2003, Marco Martin put in a strong performance to help Peugeot's push for the manufacturer's title.
50 jump, 50 crest, 70 crest, flat left, 100 flat left.
But his teammate Gronholm could sense victory. He hadn't won since his home event a year ago, but with all but 2 stage wins on leg 2 and cheered all the way by his legions of fans, the Finn was in imperious form. Loeb managed to keep in touch with Gronholm throughout the second day, but on the final stage, a puncture lost him 30 seconds. The victory would be Gronholm's.
180 mètres. Droite sur frein pour 100 mètres, attention, gauche 140 plus sur le.
This was the Peugeot driver's 5th Rally Finland win in 6 years. He is the undoubted master of this event.
8 vasen pyöreä ylinypyr, ei sisälle. Ja oikea eri jouhea ahdas. 100. Ja oikea eri, no niin, tääkin on vähän ahdas. Joo, mä otan vauhdin pois. Yes. Okei. Onneksi oot. Joo. Samoin. Stage is clear for Markus. Thank you.
I am happy for ourselves and for the team and everybody. So it was a good moment now to take it.
Marco Martin in 3rd meant there were 2 Peugeots on the podium. Solberg eventually finished 4th. Gronholm's win saw him move to 2nd in the Drivers' Championship, but Loeb was still in control. Meanwhile, in the manufacturer's standings, Peugeot had edged ahead of their French rival Citroën by just 1 point.
In its 3 years as part of the World Championship, Rally Deutschland has established itself as one of the most unpredictable events on the calendar. And 2005 provided plenty of problems for the crews. This is a tarmac rally, but a tarmac rally like no other. But the difficulty of the event has never been a problem for Sebastian Loeb. He has won all 3 rallies in Germany since it joined the WRC. And his day 1 performance, winning 5 of the 6 stages, suggested he was intent on making it 4. The remaining stage was won by Citroën teammate Francois Duval. After his early season problems, the Belgian was under pressure to start scoring big points to help Citroën keep pace with Peugeot in the Manufacturers' Championship. And so far he was doing the job asked of him, ending the day second. He'd even held the lead for one stage. In that battle for the manufacturer's title, Marcus Gronholm was flying the flag for Peugeot. He was third fastest on all of the day one stages to hold third place, but he was already admitting that he could not compete with the Citroën Michelin package on tarmac. Of the other big names, Peter Solberg had held fourth position, but was always off the pace. A gearbox problem early on day two saw him drop out of the points. He would eventually finish seventh. Tony Gardemeister got an early taste of the local wine with an excursion into the vines on the first stage. He survived this, but electrical failure on day two saw him lose 21 minutes and any hope of scoring points.
43 plus left.
Marco Martin lost his rear right tyre after hitting a roadside wall on stage 3. The Estonian lost 50 seconds, but he fought back to fourth by the end of the rally. Behind him, Roman Cresta, Danny Sola and Gigi Gali were involved in a rally-long fight for the lower point-scoring places. They all had their problems, but it was Gali who came out on top in this battle, finishing fifth. And the rally's leading duo were not immune from the unpredictable surfaces and changing grip which make this event unique. Francois Duval coming close to ruining his good work here. While Sébastien Loeb also needed a quick 360 early on day two. But these were to be minor blemishes on Citroën's total domination of this event. Loeb would record his 8th win of the season, but it was Francois Duval who would have the most to celebrate. A poor performance could have had serious consequences for his career, but this had been an impressive drive under a lot of pressure.
It's really good rally for me. A lot of pressure again. I finished second. It's really good. I am very happy for Citroën, and for me it's really important for my future.
Confirmation that Marcus Gronholm took the final podium spot in front of teammate Marco Martin. But that couldn't stop Citroën moving ahead in the Manufacturers' Championship, the battle finally poised with 5 rounds remaining. The same could not be said for the Drivers' Championship, with Loeb's lead now 32 points.
Wales Rally GB had looked like another success for Sébastien Loeb, who'd been in control from stage 2. But this event would be remembered for the tragic accident that resulted in the death of co-driver Michael Park. On stage 15, Marco Martin's Peugeot left the road, colliding with a tree. Michael Park died at the scene.
Can you give us a word about Michael Park, one of the most loved members of the WRC fraternity?
Okay, it was our friend. You can look to everybody in the team. Everybody is under. I cannot tell in English, but it is really terrible for us because this guy was so happy to live and he was so passionate with his job, and he knew the risk himself. But each time you think that it can happen to me.
Peugeot teammate Marcus Gronholm withdrew from the event as a mark of respect, Peter Solberg eventually being declared the winner. But on such a day, times, results and points were of little consequence. All crews took part in a minute's silence at the podium. Affectionately known as Beef, Michael was one of the most popular characters in rally. He started his career in the early 90s, competing in the British National Championships. During his career, he was involved with most of the big names, but it was his partnership with Marco Martin, which began in 1999, that brought about his biggest success. Teamed together at Subaru, then Ford,
Marco, where are you?
the pair moved to Peugeot for the 2005 season. During their time together, they recorded 5 WRC victories, taking their debut win in Greece 2003. They've been regular visitors to the podium ever since. Beef lived for rallying and was a fierce competitor, but he was also keen to show the lighter side when the opportunity arose.
Did you watch football last night? No. 5 left, 6 right, 25 right.
Michael leaves a wife and 2 children, while the WRC community has lost a true friend.
Sebastian Loeb received a traditional welcome at Rally Japan in the knowledge that he only had to achieve a top 3 finish to claim a second successive World Drivers' Championship. But on home soil, Subaru believed they'd made significant changes in their setup that would make them the team to beat. Stage 1, Subaru's hopes appeared to be coming true, with their number 2 driver Chris Atkinson taking the early lead and teammate Petter Solberg in second place. Solberg took the lead on the next stage, Atkinson took it back on stage 3, but on stage 4 the Norwegian started to exert his control on the event he won last year. Atkinson then lost out to Loeb, who took second place. And Marcus Gronholm, who moved up to third on what must have been a difficult rally for him and the Peugeot team following the sad events of the last round in Wales. This was also a home event for Mitsubishi, and they too had managed to pull a little extra out of the bag for the fans, with Gigi Gali winning stage 5. That win put him up to 7th, and he reached as high as 4th. But on stage 23, a rock removed a rear wheel, and he was forced to retire. Harry Rovanperä also made it into 4th on stage 12, but on stage 20 electrical problems slowed the fin. Rovanperä managed to battle on and would eventually finish 5th. Skoda had drafted in Mikko Hirvonen to score points for them, as he had previous experience of the event. But problems with a badly damaged front tyre saw him leave the leaderboard and the road completely. On day 2, the gravel stages became extremely rutted, but Solberg remained concentrated and committed in the lead of the rally. He left the battle for second place to be fought out by Loeb and Gronholm. Loeb with the upper hand until stage 12, when he could no longer hold off Gronholm, who was pushing hard. In front, Petter Solberg now had just 2 stages to complete to claim a memorable win. A huge rock right on the racing line had broken his steering. Huge disappointment for a speechless Solberg.
The car's parked in the trees. Can you tell us how it happened?
That meant Gronholm was now promoted to the lead. Victory in what had been an emotional event for the Peugeot team.
It's nice after what happened in Wales to Beef, so it's for him this victory. We are very happy for that.
But the biggest prize went to Sebastian Loeb.
How does your second world title feel?
Very good. After a difficult rally like this, it feels very good. To win 2 titles each after the other, it proves that the team is very strong and the car is strong, and so I'm really happy for everybody.
So the driver's title goes to Sebastian Loeb for the second time. His margin over his nearest rival, 36 points. But the fight is still on for the Manufacturers' Championship. 22 points separate Citroën and Peugeot.
The Tour de Course saw the return to asphalt for the WRC. was also the home event for the Citroën team and the new world champion Sebastian Loeb. Together they would be hoping to clinch the manufacturer's title on home soil. On day one, Loeb set about that target by winning all 4 of the day's stages and establishing a lead of 34 seconds. His closest challenger was Belgian François Duval in the second Citroën. The title seemed to be within reach. However, keeping the Citroëns on their toes was Marcus Gronholm. He had been as high as second on stage 2. And fellow Finn Tony Gardemeister, consistent as always in his Ford Focus, who would end the day in third. Having won the event, Petter Solberg couldn't be discounted either.
4 left minus, tightens 3, slippy maybe. Into 4 right minus half.
Marcus Gronholm's challenge came to an end at the end of stage 4. His Peugeot's gearbox became stuck in third.
No, we just try to go to the service, but we have a gearbox, it's blocked, so we cannot move, I think.
So you retiring? Or?
I think so, yes. There is no chance. Thank you.
Day 2, and Citroën was set to dominate, but on stage 5, François Duval lost his brakes.
Long droite sans ferme tenir pas corde, sur gauche sans long droite sans ferme tenir pas corde, sur gauche sans pas corde, sur gauche sans pas corde, 100 mètres, gauche 100 maintenir en frein pour droite 70 tenir, rail à pied.
And by the time he reached service, he had dropped to 5th. However, Loeb continued in the same fashion as day 1 and won all the day's stages, maintaining his 100% record. On the first stage of day 3, François Duval was pushing hard to regain his podium position. But he got this corner all wrong. He ended back on his wheels, but the damage done forced his retirement. This promoted Tony Gardemeister to second.
Huomio oikein K-suppuun, heti vasen K-kirraa, varo liukas. Jatkuu pitkä oikein nopea plus vähän liukas, maali, stop.
Stage is clear for Tony.
Well done. Well done, fantastic. Thank you.
Great, cheers, yeah.
And Petter Solberg moved up to third.
Into early 5 right plus, opens 40, 2 right minus half long, tightens lead 1 plus, opens half long 30.
But another record was made by the world champion, as Sebastian Loeb went on to win every single stage of the rally. The first driver of the modern WRC era to achieve this.
I think we cannot do better. We've done the scratch in all the stages, even in the shakedown. So for me, it was a perfect rally. Yes.
The battle in the driver's title for second spot is still open as Petter Solberg moves level with Marcus Gronholm. Disappointment for Citroën for not winning the manufacturer's title on home soil, but all they need from Spain now is 6 points.
The next event across the Mediterranean in Spain. Sebastian Loeb set about repeating the clean sweep of stage wins he had in Corsica. But he could only manage 5 out of 6 on the first day, but he had established a lead of 53 seconds. Leaving a familiar battle for second place between Loeb's teammate Francois Duval and Peugeot's number 1, Marcus Gronholm. Ford's Roman Cresta in 4th place tried to get involved in the fight, but setup changes saw him drop to 6th on stage 4. Petter Solberg, lying 6th after stage 2, went from bad to worse on the next stage. He slid off and damaged the right front wheel, ending his hopes of victory. On day 2, Sebastian Loeb possibly becoming cautious, won just 4 of the day's 6 stages. And teammate Francois Duval consolidated his second spot with nearly 18 seconds between him and his nearest rival. But elsewhere, day 2 provided plenty of drama. On stage 8, Gigi Gali set the fastest time, but caught out by a difficult left-hander after the flying finish, his car left the road and beached down a ditch. With nobody bettering his time, Gali was in the strange position of being the stage winner, but having to retire. Marcus Gronholm was in a safe-looking 3rd place, but a hole in his radiator on the last stage of the day forced him to retire.
FX for Timo, we have a water leak in the engine. Engine temperature is high. We are now driving in road mapping.
Ford had a costly day. On stage 9, Spain's Dani Sola, who had won stage 3, went off spectacularly 2 kilometers before the end and retired. And 4th place, Tony Gardemeister had a narrow escape after this off. It left him teetering on the edge of a cliff. He eventually made it off the bank, but had dropped 12 minutes. On the last stage of the day, Capafons, the privateer Ford of Mikko Hirvonen, won, leaving the Finn just 7.7 seconds behind 3rd place Xavier Ponce in an OMV Citroën. On the first 2 stages of day 3, Hirvonen reduced the deficit by 1.2 seconds to Ponce, but a stall at the start of the final stage by the Spaniard gave the Ford driver the incentive to push.
scurta. A esquerra, tens més curta ras. Obrir. Frena a l'esquerra, no?
And his efforts paid off, beating Ponce and claiming his first podium finish.
Come back down, have a look at the times as well.
Shaking his head.
You did it, man!
That's some drive. It's your first ever podium and on tarmac.
And on tarmac, it's unbelievable. I couldn't be happy. I was so nervous in the start of the race. I saw when he stole the engine and started. There is our chance. Now I really have to push on. Unbelievable. We did it. Very good.
More celebrations came from the Citroën camp as their drivers Loeb and Duval came in first and second, delivering a third consecutive manufacturer's title.
Et au panneau gauche 110, gauche 117 Nm, droite 110 plus long, et gauche 120 long, ferme jusqu'à 120 moins, sur droite 130 moins.
There's confirmation that Hirvonen gets his first podium, and there's 3 Citroëns in the top 4. The battle for the runner-up spot in the Drivers' Championship will go down to the wire in Australia, with Solberg and Gronholm both on 71 points. But here in Spain, Citroën take the manufacturer's title with a convincing 43-point lead.
You must be a very, very happy man. The objective was to win the Manufacturers' Championship, and you've done it.
Yes, it's very important for Citroën, but it's also very important to win the Driver Championship, and it's the fruit of all the team work very well and very